Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in. G'day guys and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. Today we have a really exciting one for you. We are going to be connecting the dots with you. We've got someone who's written in a listener's case and we're going to put our detective hats on and we're going to connect the dots of their health symptoms. We're going to identify potential body, mind, environment, root causes, suggest some best lab tests to confirm the imbalances and a bunch of really cool stuff like that.
Yeah, so today's episode we're digging into Amanda's case. Thank you very much, Amanda, for sending in your case and letting us investigate this publicly. So this is all about anxiety, depression, and difficulty losing weight even after eating a calorie deficit diet. Now, if you've listened to a Connect the Dots episode, or if this is your first one, you're like, oh, I'd love Chris and Philly to pick apart my case, you are very welcome to go to the show notes and click on the application form and send us your case. You aren't actually live on the podcast, so it's completely anonymous, and we just use that information and work out what's going on. Or if you're really keen to actually work with us, we do have a for real life Connect the Dots initial consult that you can book into. Again, I'll put the notes down below if you wanted to catch up with me for a 90-minute Connect the Dots experience.
So thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to sharing these dots with you so you can get a big picture of this listener's overall health, and maybe this might connect with you. So hopefully we get a chance to chat to you real soon.
Yeah. So before we jump into today's case, just want to affirm that this is for information, educational purposes only, both for the lady who sent in her case, but for anyone else who is trying what we're putting out on. It's not coming from a place of advice giving. It's more us taking some information and building out what we think might be going on. So there's obviously going to be lots of missing pieces. So this doesn't replace an official consult with us or your medical doctor or practitioner. Oh, and also, before we dive into today's case, just a reminder that it is the last week today to grab a copy of our book, Ending Body Burnout. Over the month of June, we've been offering a 40% discount off the book to celebrate my 40th birthday, and it does come to an end on Sunday. So if you haven't had a chance to buy the book yet, or to buy a few books for friends, family, head to the show notes so you can grab a copy of the book at a discounted price. Okay, so let's dive in. So the biggest body burnout symptoms that this listener is struggling with is anxiety, depression, and also difficulty losing weight even after eating a calorie deficit diet, which is really annoying for that person. So I always like to get an indication of when symptoms started, what was happening around the time, and what the person has tried so far. Now, this listener who sent in her application, she didn't provide a lot of information, which is fine. There's lots of gaps that we can assume things in. We may or may not get it right. This is where actually having a conversation in real life or via Zoom will enable us to have some really thorough information to connect the dots. But what we've got to go on is that this issue started about 6 years ago. The onset, Amanda said, is just life. There wasn't a lot of extra information around what was happening, but she has identified with a lot of busy patterns like feeling anxious, worrying, overwhelmed, stressed out, overdoing, addictive doing, and a workaholic. So it sounds like just from running those patterns that life feels pretty hectic. So when someone is ticking off a bunch of those patterns, it could be a real life craziness happening. Whether it is or not, it's someone's inner response to stress and to life. And so when someone is feeling anxious, worried, stressed out, overdoing, addicted to doing, workaholic, often this is coming from a place of fear, which is always going to impact someone's mental health. So the anxiety, depression side of things. And we'll get to what might be going on down below the surface soon. So far she has tried medicine. Not sure what type, didn't articulate on that. It may be antidepressants, maybe even weight loss meds. The fact that this woman who's sending in her application, I'm guessing it hasn't worked, or at least hasn't solved the issue. She's also tried psychology. Now, again, I'm not sure what type, whether it was talk therapy, that's kind of standard. Psychology, CBD is pretty standard as well. We'll talk about those. CBT. Sorry, CBT.
CBD.
CBT.
Oil. That's probably also common.
Yeah, maybe. We'll talk about those types of therapies as well and why they might not work for some people. And she's also tried calorie deficit dieting. So this is really common starting point for people who are trying to lose weight. Now, when someone is in a state of body burnout, so symptoms like stubborn weight gain or difficulty losing weight, anxiety, depression are all signs of body burnout. And there are always two causes of body burnout. So there's physical causes and metaphysical causes, or what we call physical inflammatories and metaphysical inflammatories. So physical inflammatories are things that are kind of outside of us, or physical imbalances in our body. So toxins, alcohol, processed foods, additives, mold, maybe blood sugar imbalances, parasites, all that sort of stuff. Metaphysical inflammatories are the things that are happening more so in your unconscious mind and in your nervous system. So your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs that you have about yourself, trapped trauma, all that sort of stuff is going to cause just the same inflammatory response compared to if you swallowed a parasite. So shall we dig into these two causes?
Boom.
Awesome. And this is essentially what we do with clients inside our Ending Body Burnout method. So yes, they come with symptoms, and yes, there are body system imbalances that we'll talk about now. Deeper than that, though, are the deeper root causes that makes up the metaphysical inflammatories. Okay, so from the physical side of things, so when someone, now we have a past history of being in the fitness industry too. So there was probably 90% of clients wanted to lose weight.
Yeah. And sadly from experience, most of those people came at that desired state, that outcome want from a place of insecurity, body dysmorphia, and the things that they try were like disordered over exercising, fear-based activity, that sort of stuff.
And essentially that strategy too is all about energy in, energy out. So if I eat less and I exercise more, therefore I should be able to lose weight. Now, if your body is humming along fine, that works. Like that works for people. It doesn't not work, but it's always interesting when it doesn't work for someone. So from a body system imbalance, because there are some things that can happen inside your body that prevent you from being able to lose weight. So already this woman has said that she's got some mental health problems with anxiety and depression. So already I'll start thinking about imbalances in the body like adrenal fatigue. So that's your ability to secrete and to balance your stress hormones. I'd also think about the neurotransmitters. So that's your brain, like maybe serotonin or dopamine are really suppressed. Even sex hormone imbalances. So if you've got imbalances in your sex hormones, and then you can have sex hormone imbalances. So that might be really suppressed progesterone. That's very common, especially when someone is stressed and burnt out. And that doesn't mean that you have PMS and emotional mental health issues flare up just with PMS period time. A woman could be feeling very anxious all cycle, and depending on the age of this woman, she may be in perimenopause too, which is where things can feel a whole lot worse mentally if your hormones underneath the surface are out of whack. Then there can be things like gut issues. So nasties in the gut. There's a thing called the gut-brain connection, where basically you've got this beautiful nerve that is constantly sending signals from brain to gut. If there's nasty pathogens, leaky gut, inflammation happening in the gut, it's going to send some danger signals up to the brain, which can amplify anxiety and depression. And then also detox pathways. So if someone's not clearing, say, heavy metals out of their system very effectively, those heavy metals get stored in fat tissues. I'll talk about that in a second in terms of weight. But in terms of anxiety and depression, those toxins literally kill off brain cells. So it's depleting dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline. It puts more stress on the adrenals. And so then your system can basically get stuck in fight flight, where you do feel anxious as if the tiger is about to chase you. Or for some people, they go into shutdown mode, which is more commonly seen with depression. So basically all of these things that are affecting someone's mental health puts the body into fight-flight response, which not only impacts their mood and their mental health, but it can actually make fat burning really hard. So when we think back to caveman days, there were a few ways that cavemen and women could die, and one of them was famine, because they had to fight for their survival. They had to fight for their food. They had to hunt for it and walk around for, many days, probably sometimes without having food. So evolutionary, our system actually kind of gets freaked out when we go into a calorie deficit, because the body's like, we're already in high stress mode. Maybe the famine is coming. So let's bunker down and hold on to fat, because we're going to last longer than the skinny person. Other things, imbalances in the body that I think about more directly related to weight. So adrenals can not only impact anxiety and depression, but they're also part of your metabolism. So if someone's in adrenal fatigue, it can make it really hard to burn fat. Neurotransmitters, again, dopamine can affect mental health, but also if dopamine's really suppressed, it can show up as addictive type tendencies. So if someone is dieting, but maybe they're showing up with yo-yo dieting patterns, or emotional eating, or all or nothing thinking, it's like, yeah, diet starts on Monday, far out, I stuffed up on Tuesday, so diet won't start again until Monday. To be able to get into like that nice consistent way of eating healthy in a way that can support weight loss can be impacted if your neurotransmitters are depleted. And also, we've seen this in a lot of clients, is food fear. This might show up if someone has sensitivities to food, but also to food fear of food making you fat. And so there's an avoidance pattern that is coming from fear, from a place of fear, not love. And fear puts your whole system into the fight-flight response as well. So you might be avoiding all the foods and eating really healthy and low calorie, but if you're doing it from a place of fear and maybe even self-hatred, shame, guilt, it makes it really hard for your body to burn fat, because it thinks that it's in a stress, like a war zone. A few other body systems too, mitochondria. So mitochondria, the little organelles that live in your muscle tissue, and they convert food into energy. Now, if they've become damaged, then it can be really hard to convert food into energy, which means that that food gets stored as fat. Even if you're just eating a lettuce leaf, it still gets stored as fat. There can be pathogens in the gut. So you might have heard of a yeast infection called Candida, which produces a metabolic byproduct called acetaldehyde, which is actually alcohol. So someone might be dieting and maybe you're off wine and beer trying to lose weight, but if there's this imbalance happening inside your gut, you could be creating your own brewery, which is going to impact your ability to lose weight, and also your liver. So if your liver detox pathways aren't working very well, the fat burning takes place last in the liver. And so that's going to be compromised. It's always going to work on toxins first. Fat burning, that can be put right back to the back burner. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, so moral of the story is you could be eating calorie deficit. So you could be eating low calories, but if these body systems aren't functioning well, then it can be really hard to actually burn the fat. The other thing too is I think about what are you actually consuming? So food quality. I remember back in my 20s, I had a gorgeous friend. She was on Weight Watchers a lot. And I remember going to her house once and she's like, yeah, this is so cool. I'm eating like Freddos all day and I'm still only eating my calorie requirement or something and I'm losing weight. I mean, she was back then, probably wouldn't work now in her 40s. So someone could be eating calorie deficit, but if the quality is inflammatory, then it's just going to mess up all these body systems and make it really hard to lose the weight. And I also think about coffee. I know that there's conflicting information on this. So a lot of it's very trendy, very common to drink coffee when you're intermittent fasting, which is essentially calorie deficit. And there have been studies that show that caffeine can increase fat burning. But it was interesting when I was looking at the studies that fat burning with coffee is more effective in a lean person than someone who is obese and overweight. So the lean person could drink coffee and burn fat faster, but the obese person, highly likely because of all these body system imbalances that are out of whack, the coffee doesn't work as well. Plus, there's also evidence that shows that if someone is in something like adrenal fatigue or has a really sluggish liver, that having a stimulant like coffee can actually make things worse because it's a stimulant for stress. So literally when someone does an adrenal test, which is a saliva test in our clinic, they have to be off coffee for that day because it's an artificial stimulant for cortisol, your stress hormone. Now, if you're already under stress, and stress is impacting your ability to lose weight, then coffee could actually be making things a lot worse. We also see this with intense exercise. And we did a past episode on weight loss and exercise, I think a couple of months ago, that you can listen back to if you want to look at it from the exercise angle.
I know caffeine is a diuretic as well, isn't it? So some people might be taking like fat burners or drinking coffee or tea or something of the like. And they might short-term, instantly, like in the very initial stages, might start losing weight. I'm doing the bunny ears thing, quote marks. The number on the scale might go down, but that would probably be attributed to water weight due to the diuretic nature of caffeine.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Let's move to the metaphysical side of what might be going on with this woman's mental health and difficulty losing weight. So body systems and supporting them specific to what you need. We have a saying, test, don't guess, is super important, as well as working out, a nutritional plan that is supportive for where you are now and your goals. If someone wants to lose weight, then their nutritional plan might look different. By the way, just a caveat there, that if we have a client who is in a state of body burnout, weight loss is not the first thing that we work on. Because it's, again, as I explained before, it's really hard to lose weight if someone's been trying really hard and they haven't been successful yet until the body is more regulated and balanced.
We get there eventually. It's just not the priority in the initial stages, hey?
And when people do get there too, weight loss is the default.
And it's flow.
And it's flow.
Flowy. We've got a couple of clients right now in this phase. They've gone through this beautiful healing process, worked on trauma, limiting beliefs, blocked up, stored emotion, significant emotional events, all that sort of
and
stuff.
Been supporting adrenals and brain health and detox pathways.
And now it's just like, it's all flow and some beautiful insecurities are coming up. I don't know if the insecurities are beautiful, but the experience is beautiful, that these experiences can come up and be noticed and be dealt with maturely as an adult with a new set of lenses and a frame, a more resourceful outlook. And it's so easy. It's so simple. This is if you're looking for shortcuts, this is the shortcut, really, like to get to the root cause, and then be in a more resourceful state, not be overwhelmed, not be stressed, not be in a state of fight or flight. And then when you're in that better state, you're not banging your head on a brick wall. The reason you want to lose the weight is a more resourceful reason. It's more from a state of love, not a place of love, not a place of fear or I'm not enough, so I need to be more skinny. It's not that. It's something more beautiful, something more higher level. It's nice.
Yeah. So let's dive into that side of things. Maybe we'll circle back to the anxiety and depression piece first, and then we'll come back to the weight loss. So when we talk about metaphysical, essentially we're talking about the other parts of your body that is not physical. But it still kind of is. So we're talking more about the nervous system, which you could actually see that, the unconscious mind, your conscious mind, your energetic part of you. So with anxiety and depression, this listener who sent in her case identified with feeling significant or worthy only when others give her praise, feeling frustrated with herself and others, feeling shame, guilt, apathy, low confidence. So already there are some deeper beliefs about herself that are not nice. And so anxiety and depression need a backstory to survive. And that backstory is always deep unconscious core beliefs that you have about yourself. I'll give you some examples of some clients that we've worked with and working with. So beautiful lady had a deep unconscious core belief that she was unlovable. There was a process to be able to uncover that. But essentially she was struggling with anxiety and panic attacks and major health anxiety big time. She'd lost her zest for life. And when she was able to finally uncover this deeper unconscious core belief and reprogram it and learn to connect and love herself, her anxiety is now like literally non-existent. No panic attacks, health anxiety completely gone. She's still a human, so she'll still have a stress response, but she now claims that she is healed from anxiety, which is pretty darn awesome. And she did that by learning to love herself. So good. And like from a physical point of view, she had like severe autoimmune conditions, extreme inflammation in the body, and that has all healed. Now, the listener mentioned earlier that she had done some psychology. Again, she didn't say specifically what that is, but usually when people write that on a health form that I'm actually having a consult with, I'll ask more questions, and it usually is either CBT or talk therapy. Again, that is like standard psychology. It can work, but it can take a really, really long time. That's why you hear the stories, and maybe you might be one of the stories. I've been in therapy for years and years and years and years, and I just keep saying the same things over and over again. So things like CBT and talk therapy will only make change in the conscious mind. I mean, things can happen and shift and change in the unconscious, but it can take a really long time. And the thing is, distressing events from the past are stuck in the system, are stuck in the unconscious mind, which is the body. And these distressing events are holding those deeper dysfunctional beliefs that you have about yourself in place as well. And it's all trapped and stuck and hidden in the unconscious mind. So if you only talk about these things, then that's where people often don't get a lot of change. So being able to hold space for that, using the body to clear it, somatics, using the imagination, using different modalities. A big one we use is TRTP trauma therapy, which literally clears trauma from the past in 2 weeks. It's phenomenal, and there is very little talking involved. In fact, we had a lady with severe health anxiety, so bad that it was making her heart do the weirdest things to the point that her surgeon, her heart cardiologist, did open exploratory surgery of her heart. They literally cut her heart open because they thought that there was something life-threatening going on. It was all trauma. It was all coming from her unconscious mind and nervous system, and we were able to clear all that in 2 weeks. And previously she had seen heaps of specialists, spent hours and hours, thousands of dollars on like the medical system, taken all the drugs, surgeries, and really got nowhere. So that was pretty cool. Okay, let's switch over to the weight side of things and the metaphysical. So someone could have deeper unconscious core beliefs as well, and it could be affecting their weight. This often shows up as self-sabotaging patterns. Now, this lady said she had been eating or has been eating deficit calories. There wasn't a lot of other information around that though. Like, has that been like deficit calories for months and months and months, and she's stayed really strict with that, and like she's in flow with that and it feels awesome? Probably not. Usually there'll be all or nothing behaviors happening, restrictive fear eating, as I said before, yo-yo dieting. Every behavior has a belief underneath. So whatever patterns you are playing when it comes to eating and trying to lose weight, if they are dysfunctional patterns, they are coming from deeper dysfunctional beliefs that you have about yourself, which could literally be blocking your ability to lose weight. Again, I had a conversation with one of our clients recently, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't done the thing. I said I was going to take those supplements and do the diet and do the spark work." That's kind of like the metaphysical stuff that we do inside the Ending Body Burnout method. But I just haven't. We had a little laugh about it. It's like, it's all good. There's just obviously a deep unconscious core belief happening deep inside of you that is literally blocking your ability to be able to do the things to lose the weight. And as we dug into it, he quickly discovered that he had a deeper root cause, that he was useless. So it made complete sense all of a sudden that he struggled to actually do the things to be healthy, because the unconscious mind is like, we can't do that. You're useless. Remember, we're useless. Why would we even bother? Let's just keep watching Netflix and eating donuts because, you know, that feels comfortable. If you try, you're just going to fail. So we may as well stay in comfort and do something that we kind of enjoy. Another thing too with beliefs or thoughts that you have about your body, if you're like, they're hating flabby parts of your body, maybe they're not even flabby, maybe you're just like, oh, I hate the way my hips look or my bum looks or my boobs look or whatever it is, my belly looks. Every time you are thinking those thoughts or feeling those things, your nervous system is feeling that as well. And it literally sends danger signals to the adipose fat tissues in your body, which can cause the weight to remain and even grow. I'm just going to pause there because that's pretty phenomenal, that you could be eating right, you could be exercising, you could maybe even be taking supplements and like doing the things, but if you're hating on your body, you're literally growing adipose fat tissues with your thoughts. And the cool thing is that this can be rewired.
I also like that saying, the Stoic philosophy, that which you resist persists. It's a nice little catchy phrase. I like it when it comes to weight loss, because you think, okay, why is this important to you? What's the intent here? Like, what's the story behind? If you think metaphysical, the first cause of the thing, what's the story? What's the background? What's the reasoning? What are the things that you believe about yourself and you absolutely believe to be true? What are these deep, dark accusations you make about yourself that are nasty, accusatory, derogatory, filthy, mean, self-shaming? You know, what are these thoughts and things? Now, that which you resist persists. If you go and mask, manage, and medicate, chop off liposuction, tie knots in your tubes, all that sort of stuff, or you do you try and poop it out, gut cleanse, you do all these things to force that weight, force that scale number to come down, so that if you can have less weight, then you can be enough. That which you resist persists. That limiting belief about yourself, that dirty, dark, accusatory belief in and of yourself, that first cause of things, that's the metaphysical root cause of most, if not all, of your weight problems. It's the first cause of things. So go back, have a look at that, realize, okay, why is this actually important, and why is this a problem to you? And just dig into that, because there is some gold to be found, some absolute nuggets, and it's probably going to be all about you.
And another thing along the metaphysical and weight is sometimes people can have traumatic events from the past, where it's actually where the unconscious mind now believes that it's unsafe to be a healthy weight, or it's unsafe to be attractive or to be beautiful. That's a really common theme if someone was abused, especially sexually abused, a woman. And literally your body can just go into protection mode and create a lot of body fat to try and protect you or to hide you. You might have also had past events where you were constantly criticized about your body, whether it was too fat or too podgy or maybe too skinny or whatever it was, or, your body wasn't perfect enough. If you heard that message as a child, even a teenager, then again, that's going to affect your body weight as an adult. There's going to be angst around body weight that needs to be cleared in order for you to be able to lose it with flow and to find a happy weight that feels good for you because you feel good about yourself.
Boom.
Just a little story to around that. I took one of our clients through a trauma therapy, and previous to that, oh gosh, she found it really hard to stick to the things, to like meal plan, eat healthy, exercise, all that sort of stuff. But when she was able to process and release some past distressing events in the past with some abusive relationships, all of a sudden she found her mojo and her motivation, and she's like, yeah, this is great. And she wasn't forcing healthy eating either. Before, it always felt like a chore and she wasn't even enjoying the healthy food. After clearing the trauma, it was literally like, I love eating healthy. Healthy is great. And I'm like, am I even talking to the same woman? This is so cool.
All right. Tying this all up.
Yeah. So hopefully that's helped the listener who sent in the application form, but also anyone else who has a struggle with anxiety, depression, weight loss, for you to gain a different perspective on the connection between these. And also, it's not always just a physical thing. There's like so much going on with all the different parts of yourself that need to be rebalanced and aligned. And if you'd like your own case anonymously reviewed on a Connect the Dots episode, just go to the show note links and you can click the application form and send us your case. And also, if you wanted us to personally guide you through our holistic root cause approach, we currently do have some spots open for a Connect the Dots initial consult. Again, they're in the notes, or you can put your name down on our wait list for our full Ending Body Burnout Method program, which is the best way of working with us and the most effective. And one last thing, a few more days you have left to score your copy of the Ending Body Burnout book for 40% off. So jump on that. It will be finishing end of June. So sorry if you listen to this after June, you can get the book at full price. But that is to celebrate my 40th birthday.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Hope you have the best day ever. We'll see you on the next one.
thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.